Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video to the ECMWF 30-day slash 6 weeks look ahead for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well. So this is your Tuesday extended look ahead with the EC model for Europe. I shall get on it for you in a moment. Just our first video today was our 6 AM upload. We've also got a 10 to 14 day with all of the reg features coming up to you later on this afternoon. So please like, share, subscribe on videos. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, so we're going to start off with the week 1 mean sea level pressure anomaly, taking us through the week we're currently in, the 1st through to the 8th of August. Obviously a lot of high pressure ridging in to the west and north of Europe. These pink colours just here indicating high pressure in control of the weather through much of northern and western Europe. We have got some low pressure into Scandinavia with these blue colours. That's where the jet stream is, running from the Atlantic into Scandi. And then this blue stuff down here is like heat lows due to the fact that we're high summer in the Mediterranean. Won't be producing much in the way of precipitation. We have also got some ridging over the eastern side of Europe as well. The 500 millibar height anomaly looks like that. Again, large area of high pressure in to the west of Europe and also extending through some of those eastern parts of Europe as well. And then we've got some lower pressure up here away to the far northwest from Iceland into Norway and Scandinavia too. Right, so it's our temperature anomalies are looking for this week. So hot again across many parts of Europe, especially from France down to Spain and Portugal, into the Low Countries and Germany as well, also into northern parts of Italy. Very high temperatures there in both deep red colours, indicating anomalies around 3 to 6 degrees or more above average. Rest of Eastern Europe looking quite hot as well, so around the Balkans, we're above that average too. It's not warm everywhere though. It is a bit cooler than average across much of Scandinavia, so Denmark up to Norway, Sweden, and also in some parts of Finland, a little bit cooler through there. Near normal around these Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, and it's actually a little bit cooler in the northern half of the UK and for Ireland as well this week, slightly below the temperature. Although down in the south, across some parts of England, it remains a pretty warm scene. Mediterranean-wise, looks very warm to hot from Italy all the way back to Spain and Portugal. But it's a little bit cooler though through parts of Greece and those Greek islands, a bit below average. Although remember, those are anomalies for average, so it will still be hot at this time of the year, of course. Precipitation-wise, lots of dry weather coming up. It's a bit wetter than average in the far north. So again, Scandinavia, Norway in particular. Whoops, what's that doing? Norway in particular. But also some parts of central northern Sweden and northern Finland looking a little bit wetter than average through there. A little bit wetter than average just to the north of the Black Sea, heading up towards Ukraine as well, maybe. But these are the exceptions to the rule. Many places are dry, all the way from Ireland, UK, and Portugal in west, right way over to the far east of Europe too. Most places are coming out drier than normal. We do see some variable rainfall through the Med, just some hit and miss thunderstorms here and there, but the emphasis is on dry weather, as you expect at this time of year through most parts of the Mediterranean. Right, week 2 will take us from the 8th to the 15th of August. High pressure remains well and truly dominant across most parts of northern and west Europe. That high pressure heading up towards Scandinavia too. Low pressure across southern Europe, though, that's probably going to be heat blows once again. 500 millibar height anomaly looks like that. Big area of high pressure dominating the weather. Absolutely massive area of high pressure dominating the weather across most of northern and western Europe once again. So that high pressure extends all the way from the Atlantic right way towards Scandinavia and eastern, northeastern parts of Europe. Week 2 temperature anomalies look like that. Very warm across most parts of western Europe. Warm to hot. Really through the UK, through Ireland, through France, through Spain, Portugal. Most parts of the central bowl of Mediterranean also looking hot. And that heat extends up into the Low Countries and also into western parts of Germany too. Further east it gets a little bit cooler. Further north and east it gets a little bit cooler. But it's a bit warmer through like southern Sweden in particular, and some parts of Norway. But generally, further north and east, it's a little bit on the cooler side, actually. So, sort of these far north and northeastern areas, just average to slightly below average. And clearly, an east-west split in the Med as well. So, anywhere from Italy westwards, it looks hot. From Italy eastwards, it just looks out a little bit cooler, doesn't it? Precipitation for week 2, 8th to 15th of August. Very dry across most parts of northern and western Europe, so particularly so for the UK, for Ireland, for northern parts of France, for the Low Countries, for Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, Germany as well, looking very dry, and some parts of Poland, and also extending into Scandinavia as well. So Denmark looks really dry, as does much of Sweden and some parts of Norway as well. So definitely that ridge is building north and becoming more of a Scandinavian high type feature. Making my way, showers breaking out through the central part of the Med, so it looks a bit wet average through Italy and back towards Corsica and Sardinia. That might just be the first signs, but we've got some further storms beginning to break out in the Mediterranean. Well, I think it's a little bit early for that, really, but there might be some storms beginning to break out there through the central part of the Med. So no signal from Spain and Portugal for precipitation, and even into towards some parts of Greece does look a little bit on the wetter than average side through there. Many parts of eastern Europe have no signal or are a little bit on the dry side, but the driest weather, the drought really is focused on the north and the west of Europe. Week 3 will be the 15th, 22nd of August. This is how it looks. So the high pressure band begins to go more towards the north and northwest of the UK and Ireland. Lower pressure appearing across parts of Europe. Could we be starting to see signs of a thundery breakdown and low pressure moving up from the south? Let's put in a question mark because I'm not sure about that prospect. Let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly. So we've got a trough beginning to move into Scandinavia. A trough is dropping into Scandinavia. That will bring autumnal weather there to the far north of Europe. A high pressure over UK and Ireland building out into the Atlantic. So that probably starts to bring some cooler air into the north and west of Europe, actually, as winds turn into more of a northwesterly direction. The temperature anomaly for week 3. It looks like this. So much of Scandinavia goes cooler than average now. Definitely becoming cooler there in the far north of Europe. However, it still looks very warm across most areas. So again, Ireland, Portugal in the extreme west, all the way toward the Balkans in the east, and all areas in between, looking warmer than average. Not as hot with the anomaly to average as it is in week 1, but that's probably just because we're further out, so we're seeing that a little bit weak. The signal is that little bit weaker. But it does look like a very warm week again coming up through most parts of Europe. It's just in the north, the far north, maybe the far northeast, around those Baltic Sea states again. It just looks that little bit cooler. And possibly some of the Greek islands as well. Precipitation for week 3, it looks like that. A weakening signal. Looks like we're getting to a little bit wetter through central and northern parts of Scandinavia, so that trough of low pressure digs in. Otherwise, it's sort of no signal to drive an average, I think, particularly so for these western areas. I suspect when this gets closer to the time frame, it will generally be, really, really quite dry. Southern parts of Europe look like that, so maybe some heavy storms there to the south of Italy. But overall, I think most areas are still looking pretty dry here. Week 4 is the 22nd, 29th of August. So just lower pressure really across most parts of Europe. A little bit of a strange anomaly. So putting a question mark. Let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly for week 4. Again, quite a strange anomaly. The high pressure looks like it's pulling out into the northern Atlantic, if anything. And otherwise not all that much to work with really. So again, let's just put in those question marks. The temperature anomaly, so much of a muchness really, cooler than average for Scandinavia, otherwise most areas coming out warmer than normal. A very, very warm August on the way, if this is right. And precipitation anomalies, a weak signal again. So perhaps a bit dry than average through some eastern parts of Europe, dry than average down towards Spain and Portugal. And also a little bit wet just to west-southwest of the UK line. Could the Atlantic be starting to come back a bit there right at the end of August, I wonder. Right, that's your 30-day look ahead done. Let's just have a look at week's 5 and 6 data before we go. So, week 5 is the 29th of August, 5th of September. How it looks there. So, some lower pressure down here. Bit of high pressure up there. Otherwise, again, let's put in a question mark. 500 millibar height anomaly. Looks like that. Higher pressure just out to the west of the UK and Ireland. Probably bringing wind like a northwesterly direction. The temperature anomaly looks like that. Still pretty warm, especially so perhaps through more southern parts of Europe now. Northern and northwest Europe might be cooling down, starting to cool down just a little bit. And precipitation, very, very weak signals. It looks dry through much of southern Europe, so dry, hot weather continues in the south of Europe. And further north, probably the emphasis is still on pretty dry weather too. And then week 6 will be the 5th through to 12th of September. And that's how it looks. So some lower pressure now, just here around France, Spain and Portugal. Otherwise, again, there's not all that much to work with, but let's put that question mark. The 500 millibar height anomaly. Looks like that. Again, you know, very, very weak signals. This is a bit of a mysterious September type thing going on here. So let's just put in those question marks again for that week 6 anomaly. Week 6 temperature anomaly. Still looks quite warm, breatho, across most parts of Europe. It's cooler still in the far north, but otherwise it does seem as though the warm spell goes on into September. Perhaps a little bit more focus on the south of Europe opposed to the north, but overall it does look as though things stay pretty warm into September. Precipitation wise, very weak still, just maybe going a little bit wetter though through northern France in towards Ireland and the UK, possibly a little bit more unsettled, but it's such a weak signal that it's very hard to decipher. Southern Europe has a weak signal to be quite dry still, and beyond that I don't think we can say much more than that. So, you know, September looks quite mysterious. Before that, though, much of August is going to be dominated by high pressure away from the far north and northeast of Europe. High pressure is in control of the weather through much of this August, meaning we're going to be in for another pretty hot month, I think, and another very dry month as well, across not just the UK, but many parts of Western and Central Europe too. Okay, it's just a snapshot of what Morris showed. It could look completely different. We'll do this again next week. You will have a look at this model again on Saturday, when we just focus on the UK and Ireland with that one. But yeah, we'll do another Exchange European Outlook, of course, next Tuesday. We're going to be back later on with the 10 to 14 day. That will include all other regular features as well. News about CT for July. I'll bring you that first up with the 10 to 14 day a little bit later on. But for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.